Okay, let's see. Is everything working? Is everything working? Microphone. Is everything working? Microphone. Is everything working? Okay. Alright, hopefully the game's audio isn't too loud. If it is, I'll probably change it in a bit. Lower it down even more. But welcome to the live stream. I'm going to be talking about the recently announced Budokai Tenkaichi 4, which I am incredibly excited about. And for the gameplay in the background, it's just going to be Jump Force, just because it's fun. Why not? We'll just put Dragon Ball characters for now. There we go. Alright, so Budokai Tenkaichi 4 was recently announced, and I am beyond excited for it. I'm sure everyone has been waiting for this game to come into existence at some given point, because we've been wanting a fourth game in this franchise for so long, and now that we're finally getting it, feels insane. It doesn't feel real, but it's actually happening. I grew up mainly on Budokai Tenkaichi 2 and 3. I did play a little bit of 1, but I only really owned 2 and 3, which were awesome games. I played 3 the most because it just had the biggest roster, and I just liked the combat more in that. Yeah, I also grew up with the Budokai games as well. Those were a lot of fun. And Infinite World, those were great. But to see that we're finally getting a Tenkaichi 4 game is incredible. Now, I don't know if it's been confirmed that Spike Chunsoft is making Tenkaichi 4. I haven't seen anything about it. I didn't see any kind of developer or who's making it. So, I mean, I'm going to assume it is Tenkaichi 4 that's making it. Spike Chunsoft that's making it. Which is why we have this gameplay in the background here. Because, you know, it likely is not going to be like this. It's probably going to be like how Tenkaichi was, where you can freely fly around and destroy a crap ton of stuff. But I'm just kind of putting this in the background as an example. So, what to expect from Tenkaichi 4? Let's see. So we gotta also take in the fact that more than likely we are not going to get a gigantic roster to begin with. Now, will it have a big roster to start with? I'm really hoping so. At least a big enough roster to not feel like we got kind of ripped off, which, you know, that's probably not the thing they really want to do. Even in the press release they did for it after they announced it, they did mention the fact that it's known for its combat and huge roster. So the fact that we're probably going to get some sort of a big roster is pretty cool. But don't expect like 100 characters like right off the bat. We're probably going to get there, more than likely through DLC, and I know people don't like the idea of DLC all the time, but that's just kind of how the world is now. Do I wish they could put every single character we would want in the game to begin with? Yes, which I'm going to assume they're going to put in quite a few characters. Its roster setup probably won't be the same like how it was back in the PS2 days, where we have like separated versions of Goku, Vegeta, and stuff like that. It's all probably going to be just one Goku with like all his transformable forms. Same with Vegeta. The only separation I can see them doing for like Goku or Vegeta is like the GT versions, because GT Goku and GT Vegeta are technically different characters. because they would play, I would say, differently and have different moves. When it comes to everything else, though, pretty much everyone that would have a transformation would just be in the one slot, more than likely. Like how they had back in the Tenkaichi games, where you could start off as Fat Boo and you could just transform into the other versions of Boo without them being transformations. I mean, without them being separate characters. Now, I'm pretty sure they're going to stick to that, because it would be just weird if they had all the forms of Boo be like separate characters. Like, I mean, if they want to make Fat Boo, no, that still doesn't make a lot of sense either. Because it's been a while since I've booted up my old PS2, but yeah, Boo was all just in one slot. Because because in that game you could play as Fat Boo, Evil Boo, Super Boo, Boo Tanks, Boo Han, and Kid Boo. And they would just be in one slot, and you could pick the separated forms if you wanted to start out in those forms and then transform. Which I feel like, I kind of hope they do that again, where if you wanted to start out as a specific form, you can still pick to start out like as a Super Saiyan, or if you wanted to start it out as Golden Frieza, you can just pick Golden Frieza from like Frieza's slot and just start the game like that. That would be a cool thing to return, because in the other games you could do that. You could just pick, oh, I want to play as Super Saiyan 4 Goku, but I don't want to start out as just regular GT Goku. You could just pick Super Saiyan 4 Goku and just start the game like that. But he wouldn't take up a separate slot. He'd just be in GT Goku slot, and then you could just pick whatever form you wanted to start out in. Or you can start in base form and just transform through the match, which looks like is what's going to be the case in Tenkaichi 4, because we see Goku transform into Blue. And if you remember in those games, you could also skip, I think you could skip transformations, or you could just, I can't remember if you could just skip certain transformations, like you could just go from base to Super Saiyan 3 or not. I don't quite remember, or you had to just go through each one. I don't remember. Now, another thing they could do also in Tenkaichi 3 is that maybe you can customize skills, like say you want to be a Super Saiyan God for like Goku or Vegeta, that you just equip it before you get into the match. Not too sure on that. I'm not sure how a lot of people would like that. And then you just, that's the only transformation you have. That's what I'm kind of getting with. Like, is that the only transformation you're going to have, basically? If you do like the skill thing like that, which that would be annoying. Like, I don't see a lot of people liking that, so I can just see them kind of just allowing us to transform into all the transformations regardless. Another thing is if OG Dragon Ball is going to be in the game, which I really hope they don't exclude it. I know OG Dragon Ball doesn't really get put into games that much anymore, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. I mean, I don't know why not. And like, what's the point of not adding OG Dragon Ball? I guess for like certain games, like for whatever reason, like for Xenoverse, they just don't include Dragon Ball like at all, which is really annoying. But I do hope they still include OG Dragon Ball. They don't have to put like a ton of characters from it, just like important ones like Kid Goku, King Piccolo, maybe Dragon Ball Yamcha if they really want to, or they can just have that be an outfit for Yamcha to wear in the game. I think mainly you would just need like maybe just Kid Goku and King Piccolo. I guess you could have some of the Red Ribbon guys that, like, I guess you could have like Pilaf maybe if you really wanted to, or like Red Ribbon General Blue, or yeah, because I'm kind of thinking about it, like I think most people would be happy if we at least got like, you know, Kid Goku and King Piccolo. If they wanted to add more from Dragon Ball, that I would be fine with that too, but like, who knows. As for the roster, it really just depends, because I do believe we're going to get quite a few characters. We're going to get all the main ones we're more than likely expecting. We're going to get all the big villains, all the big heroes, all the characters that we would just expect, really. When it comes to additional characters, like say from Super or GT, see, mainly from Super. I think they're going to focus a lot on Super stuff, to be like brand new stuff, which is understandable. It's very likely. So we can pretty much just guarantee that like Beerus, Whis, Super Saiyan God transformations, Golden Frieza. Let's see, the Universe 6 tournament, that's more than likely going to be a stage. And, I know, like in the Universe 2, they only really gave us, from that tournament arc, Hit and Frost and Kaba. I wouldn't mind having the other two characters, like Magenta and Botamo, because why not? Like, add more characters. They haven't been in a game yet, besides, I think, maybe, like, Dragon Ball Legends. Because why not? Because remember, in those older games, Tenkaichi games, you could play as giant characters. And that's going to be a big thing, too. Like, that would really annoy me if they didn't bring back the whole playing as giant characters thing. Because you have any idea how many people would be upset by that? Because that was like a big thing. Because it was just fun to play as giant characters. It was a little ridiculous sometimes, but it didn't matter because it was giant characters. Who cared? And when it comes to other things, sorry, sorry, I'm a little distracted here. Just trying to pick some characters for them to fight. But yeah, can you imagine if they didn't include giant characters? That would upset so many people, because that was a cool thing that people liked back in those games. And even with Xenoverse 3, and that's Xenoverse 3, Xenoverse 2, I remember, I don't know if anyone really cares anymore, but like back in the day when Xenoverse 2 was coming out, people really wanted playable giants, and honestly, in that type of game, playable giants just wouldn't have really worked or made sense because of just how big they were compared to regular character models. Because I know in Tenkaichi 3, they were still big, but they weren't absurdly huge. Like, you could still reasonably fight them and knock them around and throw them through things, and it was still fun. And Xenoverse 2, you can't do that. They're just way too big. Even in Dragon Ball Breakers, playing as Grady Vegeta is absurdly overpowered. But in Tenkaichi games, it didn't matter. You could still be big, but you could still get smacked around a lot. I really hope they still include that, because I would generally be pretty upset if they didn't keep giant characters as a playable thing, because that's not fair. Because there's a lot of characters that we just don't get to play as anymore in games. The Great Apes, Hirudegan. Even now, with Cell Max, people really want Cell Max to be a playable character, even though, yeah, he's a giant character. Which, I'm really hoping that now that we're having a new Tenkaichi game, that he would be a playable character, because you could play as giant characters in the previous games. So, like, why not? That would just be really upsetting if we just didn't get giant characters. I really hope that sticks with giant characters, because it'd be fun. Imagine the crazy damage and destruction you're going to do in a modern Tenkaichi game as a giant character. That'd be crazy. Let's see. What else is there to talk about? Now, I guess we could talk about DLC. Actually, no, I was talking about like what to expect from the roster. Dragon Ball Super in the Universe 6 tournament. I wouldn't mind having the entire team be playable. Magenta and Botamo. Like, why not? Just add them. Like, who cares? It's just more to the roster, and it would be cool. Champa, probably a playable character. Vados, maybe. I'm not too sure. Let's see here. The arc after that was... What was it? Was it the Goku Black? Yeah, it was Goku Black. Definitely gonna have those characters be playable. There's no way. Goku Black, Zamasu, the new version of Future Trunks. The new version of Future Trunks. He could be a separate character because he's different enough, and he does have some different moves and different skills. I guess he could be a separate character, or he could be just an alternate variation of him, just with different skills and stuff. It could be. I don't know how they're gonna do that exactly, but like Merge Zamasu. The corrupted version of Merge Zamasu. Let's see. Blue Vegito. Vegito Blue, yeah. That's going to be a character. Guaranteed. Let's see, after that... Yeah, after that's like just the Universal Tournament. Yeah. Yeah, after that's the Universal Tournament, and okay, so that one you could easily add quite a few DLC characters if you really wanted to. I know a lot of characters in that tournament didn't really do a whole lot, but that kind of just gives you an opportunity to make a lot of new playable characters. You know, like there are a lot of characters you could easily make into playable characters. From the anime, at least. I mean, the manga version is pretty different, so not very many there you could really use. But if you go with the anime version, there actually is a lot of characters you could probably use. I know the Danger Trio, like Bergamo and his brothers, those are definitely probably going to be playable characters. And like I said, giant characters, Bergamo can turn giant, so... Yeah, I hope he would be a playable character, and his two brothers. Let's see here. The Universal Tournament. So with the Pride Troopers, definitely like Jiren, Topo, God of Destruction Topo, Dispo. All those guys are more than likely playable. As for the rest of his team, as the rest of the Pride Trooper team, you could make some playable characters out of that. I don't know if anyone would really care about the other members, but that's an option, I guess. Six members: Kale, Khalifa, Kefla, definitely. The two Namekians. I forget their names, but the two Namekians that were on that team. Playable characters. They had a big part in the anime, or a big fight in the anime. Yeah, let's see. Just trying to think. There's just a lot of characters you could probably pull from the Universe 6 tournament if you really want. Not the Universe 6, the Universal tournament. If you wanted to make a lot of playable characters, or just add DLC, you know, they could. After that, we got this Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. That's pretty much a guarantee. There's just no way. All they really have to add is the is Super Broly and Gogeta Blue. That's really it. There's nothing else they would really add from that movie besides story stuff. I'm not counting story stuff. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of story stuff from this game. I'm just talking about playable characters. But yeah, Super Broly and Gogeta Blue, definitely. After that, we have the newest movie, Dragon Ball Super Hero. So, I don't know. I would love for them just to have that included in the game. I don't know if they would have a separate slot for like that version of Gohan, or just have it be a separate variation of regular adult Gohan in the game already. Because he just looks a little different, mainly in base form in that movie than he does in Super. But you could just say different variation. You know, it doesn't have to be a completely separate character. And new transformation, obviously, into Beast Gohan. Everyone's going to want Beast Gohan to be in this game. See, that's the thing, though. Since it's so new, and since we haven't even gotten him in Xenoverse 2 yet, pretty guaranteed he's going to be coming in Xenoverse 2. That's a guarantee at this point. But since he hasn't even shown up in Xenoverse 2 yet, he hasn't even been shown, but we know he's coming, I don't know if he would be in the base game or be added as DLC. I would hope he'd be added in the base game, but we don't know. Same with Cell Max and Orange Piccolo. Orange Piccolo would just be a transformation for Piccolo. There's no need for him to be a separate character. And again, he can also turn giant, so it'd be like Piccolo. Piccolo would then get his ultimate form, and then go to Orange Piccolo, and then turn giant. Like, that's how the transformation system would work for Piccolo. Because none of those need to be separate characters. They can just be transformations. For the Gammas, Gamma 1 and 2, definitely playable characters. And then that's really all you would add from Superhero. You'd add Gamma 1 and 2. A new variation of Gohan that can transform into Beast Gohan. Gamma 1 and 2, Orange Piccolo. Yeah, you just basically add more on top of Piccolo and Gohan. Unless for some reason they really want them to make them separate characters, which I don't know. I don't want them to really be separate characters, because that defeats the purpose of just transforming into like more powerful forms. You know, there isn't a need for them to be separate characters, really. I mean, if they do want to add like a new like superhero version of Gohan, like that's just in base form, and then he can go Super Saiyan, then Ultimate, and then Beast Gohan. Sure, if you wanted to do that, I'm fine with that. If they don't want to just add a different variation to adult Gohan, but I don't want them just to add Beast Gohan as a playable character, and that's it. Like, I don't want just Beast Gohan. I want like that version of Gohan that can transform into Beast Gohan. Like, there's no need for that, unless it's like for a very specific reason. There isn't any need for it. I don't believe we're gonna get any. Well, I don't know. I would love to have manga stuff be in this new Tenkaichi game, but I don't know. Since it hasn't even been in animated form yet, I don't know if we would. I would love it, but it's kind of hard to say. Like, yeah, I would love manga stuff to be in the game, but I don't know if they would add it. That's like the one thing that I'm not entirely sure about. Well, don't get me wrong, I would love to have Moro and the Granola arc be in the game, but I don't know if we'd even get that. It's a possibility, but that would definitely be like DLC stuff. There probably wouldn't be any way for that to be put in the base game. It is possible, though, that we get manga stuff, because they did in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot in the Future Trunks DLC, they did add more story that was only really in the manga of Dragon Ball Super. It did get talked about in the anime, but it was not expanded upon like at all. It just like said, oh, Trunks dealt with Deborah and Babidi and killed them, and that was in the anime. In the manga, they actually went into it. Like, he went into training with the Kais. They showed the big full fight with Deborah and all that stuff, and it was awesome. And what was really cool is that they added that in the DLC for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for the Future Trunks DLC, which was awesome. So it is a possibility for them to include manga stuff. I guess they would just have to get approval for it. So, who knows? Well, I think that's about everything I wanted to say. Yeah, that's pretty much everything I wanted to say and talk about. If anyone else has any kind of options or what they would like to see in Tenkaichi 4, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to. It would help me out. And I guess I'll catch you guys later. And I'll just leave you with the rest of the gameplay. Bye.
たまりやがれバカな砂漠級砂しぐれなつ残念だが終幕だ。拾ってもらうぞ。無駄だ。砂しぐれくそバカな砂しぐれここでこれでどうだ。
こいつをまともに受け止める勇気があるか。
ファイナルバースいってと大丈夫だ。アマテラスおお隙ありだといい気になやいやがれ。大丈夫ですか父さん。誤算だったらアマテラス誤算だったら油断したな。カグ終わりだ。調子に乗りやがって。
おめえ修行し直してきたらどうだ。